We hear a lot of perspectives on the Mankind podcast. Inclusion of a guest is not an endorsement of their views, and the opinions expressed here do not always represent the mission or values of the Mankind Project USA.
G'day and welcome to another live recording of the Mankind Podcast, the show where we break the molds of modern manhood to prove that there is in fact more than one way to be a man. And today we are joined again by returning guest Dane Sanders to share his insights, his wisdom, his stories and experiences from a life well earned via embracing struggle. Dane, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Brandon, thank you. Thank you so much. And it's funny to hear comments like that, because what I'm actually hearing when you introduce me that way is like, I'm old. Got it. Clear. No. I am old.
Your story, not mine, all right? Look, you are the embodiment of youthfulness, but the wisdom, I mean, you've been kissed by the silver mist of time. And that, to me, that is just your wisdom shining through. And well, you're likely more flexible, can do more burpees and more pull-ups than I can. So you hold on to that.
I will. I'm glad that my biological age is different than my chronological age. So
there you go. Good. Yes. Yeah. Well, and that is well earned, my friend. Well earned. So, man, a lot has happened since we were last together on the show. Of course, our lives have kind of converged in these really cool ways. I can thank you for probably one of my dearest friendships on planet Earth with Gregory Benedict, who's been on this show many times. His episodes are easily the most downloaded of the 250 plus.
Because it's a video podcast. It's because he's so good looking. I mean, how can you? It's just none of us have any other hope. I just want him on every show.
I know that jerk. Yeah,
seriously,
so dashing. Hate him. And so I want to kick things off, because obviously our last conversation, the title was, in essence, like how to embrace discomfort and why it's necessary as men to, intentionally present challenges and opportunities for us to rise to the occasion, build our resilience. And I'm sure as your community has grown tenfold since then, that you've, gained some new insights. I want to frame the conversation and kick things off with, how has your understanding of what it means to live a good life changed, let's say, since you entered into adulthood?
Well, I'll probably fast forward just a minute to more of the middle of adulthood. So, and this kind of harkens back a little bit to the origin story of our community, men and women of discomfort. And it was with my dear friend Tim Kruger and I wandering this little section of Newport Beach, California called Back Bay, which is this 10-mile loop of there's like a YMCA on that over, and the loop goes around this kind of back bay of water away from the ocean, kind of the runoff, and it's an amazing kind of natural 10-mile course. And if you're an athlete, it's just glorious. And it's packed. At COVID, it was like a 7-lane highway of human beings moving just because they could get outdoors. And but my friend Tim and I, we used it. I was about 5 years older than him at the time. I was in my 40s-ish. And we were wandering around basically in a malaise, like what are we doing with our lives kind of thing. And I need to contextualize this. Like, we had great lives. Like, we were both married. We have great kids. We're part of faith communities. We're ingrained in the community. We'd been around for quite a while. We both were gainfully employed. Like, everything was fine. But we also had a sense of like, really? Like, this is it? And we would complain about it. We'd walk around and complain. We'd go to the Y workout and go for a walk. And it was around that time that we both just decided to start doing silly things, silly lark ideas, like honestly novelties that appeared uncomfortable, but really were just, can we still do that? Do we still have enough testosterone in our system to get after something hard? And it was like incredible, fun, like jovial, like an injection of life. It just felt really, really cool. And that was all fun and great. And then eventually that evolved into like, oh, let's work this into our workouts. Let's do weird things with food. Like we do all carnivore diets. Like go to In-N-Out Burger and get 8 stacks of burgers. And we would, of course, jump in the cold water before the cold water stuff and hold our breath before we knew who Wim Hof was. And we're doing all the things. That is kind of all the rage online, even today. But I can't overstate. It wasn't because we had some grand plan. It was just like fun.
Let's rock the boat.
It just felt like an injection in life, and that was great. And then that got over time. We invited other people to it, and that was really fun. And I thought we found like the fountain of youth. I thought we had just discovered this incredible thing, and I'd run around and say, "This is awesome, uncomfortable, discomfort, do this thing." But it really wasn't until a couple years later, and a number of people would come in, and then we added women to the whole conversation, men and women of discomfort. And then Timmy got sick. And I don't remember if I shared the story the last time I was on or not, but he got stomach cancer. And for the final year of his life, he died January of like 22, January 1st. And he was the most alive I'd ever seen a human being. He was so present, so all in. Like I'd go to his place to encourage him, and he was like ready to receive me and encourage me. He would do reversals, and his body was betraying himself. Like this guy was an Ironman, literal Ironman, and his body was just like disintegrating in front of all of our eyes. And married to Jess and father to Holt and Henry, and it's just tragedy, man. And he had this great line in the middle of it where, in the midst of what truly sustained him, I believe, was his God, like it was his faith commitment. But he oriented, even the reason we did the fun, novel, discomforting things, he started bending it in the direction of that. And he had this great line where he says, "I'm really glad I practiced voluntary discomfort before involuntary discomfort chose me." And to me, that was the unlock. That was when I realized, like, there has to be something more than novelty or the whatever the cool thing of the week is. And we started to deepen into this as a community of people. And what we've discovered over the last 8+ years is, that time included, has been a total reorientation of what I think it takes to thrive in this world. And it accounts for things like, what is the nature of the world that we live in? It's actually it's not a glorious, wonderful world where when things that are bad happen, it's abnormal. It's the reverse. Bad things happen is normal. And then when good things happen, that's actually the silver lining. That's actually these moments of grace. We don't deserve it. Like some people, their lives are like they're under a bus all the time. If you happen to not be in that position, be thankful. Like shift. But if you treat that as like an entitlement, when something goes difficult in your life, you're going to be undone. You won't have any capacity to stand up in the storm. And that's what we discovered together. And Tim was a massive part of that equation for me. And I miss him terribly. He's one of my best friends. I only call myself a co-founder. I will never take the founder role in my community because it wouldn't happen without Tim. And I can't overstate this either. He'd be so bummed if I didn't say this, because he's not mythical. Tim was a knucklehead. He was a goofball. He was like everyday guy. He was every listener on this call. And there was nothing like, I don't want to deify the dude. That was not the point. And I think this was what was the huge opening for me, is like, this is available for everybody.
It's available for everybody. Thank you. Thank you for sharing Tim's story. And it makes me think so much. Interestingly, it brought me back to a previous interview I did with a young man by the name of Hunter Leininger. Have you heard of Hunter by chance?
I don't know Hunter. No, I don't think I do.
He's an ultra endurance runner, young guy, early 20s. He's got world records like crossing Scotland or Iceland, I think it was, and like 600 miles.
Is he one of those guys that like runs and then like portages boats and then Like he does more than run, like it's running, and he does additional pieces to the equation.
No, I don't believe so. I wouldn't put it past him, but he's mainly just this runner. And but I remember when I was interviewing him, I was like, okay, where's the Goggins side of his personality? Like, where's the darkness? I want to give the dark. And so I was like, so tell me, what fuels you? You know, he's like, oh, well, you know, I just like being a good, positive role model. I like challenging myself and, you know, proving myself to my future version. I was like, cool. But like, really, like, what like in the moment where you're at the wall and you're not even halfway and you've got to put your left foot in front of your right, like what drives you? And he's like, well, just grateful that I have my legs and there are people that don't have them. And I was like, no, like, like come on, man. Where's like the addiction, the, you know, like the bankruptcy, the blah, blah, blah. Like, what is the thing that you're running from or whatever? And it was so refreshing, but also challenging to me to think that, every protagonist has to have this like story arc that they've all been on and this old challenge and everything. And it's like, no, rather than him having to live through that, he can gain the perspectives of the lived experience of others, which you shared. There are some people who are literally under the bus. Like they don't have perhaps some of the advantages that you or I or others have, whether that's skin color or the country they were born in or the community they were raised in. And so how can I, who has all of these wonderful things in life from both hard work and the advantages of the family I was raised in, the woman I married and all the rest, raise my floor so that when I'm in that place of victim and I'm looking down at my gut and I'm, you know, and coming up with all these reasons as to how I've ended up in this place and how unfortunate it is and how annoying it is, and that all of these challenges and adversities and conflicts that are popping up in my life are just so unfortunate. It's like, you know what? Maybe they're just a feature of the journey and this is life, and things are actually pretty dang good.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I love that we reference Gregory because he and I have been, for years now, in a little bit of a debate about the nature of reality. And I don't want to overstate this because he and I are far more aligned than out of alignment. But if I were to assess Gregory, I would mainly just, and we kind of pointed to this earlier, like, of course he can do uncomfortable things and get the girl and get 500,000 views on YouTube and get like all the things that he's kind of famous for these days is like, do the crazy thing and you're going to get the great life. And what I've also suggested to him is like, there may be a season in his future where he does the hard thing and it gets harder. Or he doesn't do anything and it happens to him in a way. And it's very difficult to appreciate that when I'm making assumptions here, but if you're young and good looking and everything's going your way, when the sun is at your back and so is the wind and you're flying in life, you probably need voluntary discomfort more than you realize. And the reason that's true isn't because of what's going on in your moment right now. It's because you're not accounting for the nature of the world, the world we live in. It will get more difficult than you've ever imagined. And it's not all bad news that it's going to get really, really hard. Because if you can show up into that hard moment from a position of anticipation and strength and consciousness and awareness, you're in a much better position than if you didn't. But most people, they presume that if things are going well, this is normal. Life is up and to the right. And I think that's the trap, where it just doesn't, it betrays the nature of the world we actually live in. And when you live in congruence with the way the world actually is, when hard things come your way, you actually have a chance to do life like Tim did life. And this is what I mean. Like, I'm not just talking about stubbing your toe or getting in a fender bender. Like, all of us are dying. All of us. Like, sorry, if you'll indulge me. The other day, literally last weekend, I was, one of my best friends, Drew Bray, his daughter Logan, both a man and a woman of discomfort, by the way, side note. We were celebrating. Logan got married. This amazing guy, Austin. We did this fun, like, coastal challenge to usher Austin into the community. And it was amazing time, like, of running in sand and climbing rocks and jumping off cliffs and swimming in open ocean. And it was just this incredible time. And And that's not the story. Wait for it. In the middle of it, Drew's like over 50. I'm over 50. We're in the thick of it with these young guys and having a blast, going like, we can still do this. This is so fun. That's not the story. That's cool and all. After the wedding was amazing, the most perfect, idyllic, blue sky, angel cloud, like awesome thing. They said the things, they did the dances, everyone cried. It was just glorious. And that's not what I want to talk to you about. The next morning, me and Drew and my wife and his wife and 2 other couples sat around a fire and told stories and debriefed the day and sat all day at this resort by the beach or by the this pool in San Juan Capistrano. And it was glorious. Everything was just incredible. And that's not the story I want to tell you about. But it's all context to say I'm sitting there and and something occurs to me. And it's funny. I just happen to have this right here. I pull out my little portable typewriter, and I start typing in this kind of break in the conversation. And Drew uncharacteristically says, "What are you doing over there? Like, what are you writing about?" And I don't want to tell him. I'm feeling so embarrassed. Like, this is awful. I don't want to tell you. And he says, no, read it. He says it to everybody, like, read it out loud. I'm like, really? You want me to read this? And he's like, yes. So I'll read you what I wrote. And this was not planned, friends, at home. It's very short. Is that okay, Brandon?
Please.
Okay, so here's what I wrote. And it is contextual to what we're talking about. I'm sitting poolside with our best friends, debriefing Logan and Austin's wedding and dreaming about the future. Lots of the usual conversations, kids, couples, housing, and the usual pairing and timing predictions about future weddings. I get minor heart palpitations concerning myself prematurely about such things. I have $3. Practicing being dead is a gift. I'll tell you more about practicing being dead in a minute. It's a voluntary discomfort. In moments like this, the fruit of a practice I so desperately need. And the most deceiving part of all this, of this glorious day, of the sunshine and the wedding and all the things, I'm convinced, is that we're in the middle of a near perfect wedding in bougie luxe conditions. A cool offshore wind with angel clouds across an otherwise bluebird midday. To make matters worse, everyone here is present. Marriage is intact. Everyone's cancer-free. The calm after so many storms and before the next one shows up. It doesn't feel possible right now. It's also glorious. What we imagine heaven might be like. But we're not in heaven. The kingdom of love is established, but the work is not done. The incumbent is still darkness and death. Lord, help me never to forget where we actually live. These dear friends of mine will all die, including my wife and my children, not to mention myself. What will live beyond my desires for the things of this world are the weeds and decay of this same world. And for me, in my world, I declared, Jesus, that you are my treasure, my hope. This is a prayer. Again, I'm writing this to myself as a journal entry. In that light, I still celebrate the moment, the unbelievable grace that is community and health and life, haven in the storm. But help me not to get lost. I confess I'm so prone. Worse, perhaps, given to future tripping in the midst of fantasy fictions about the nature of reality. You're in the midst of redeeming. So this was my prayer to myself, and I shared this with my friends. And I took this incredible moment and didn't put a downer on the moment. It upgraded the moment. Everyone felt a greater sense of gratitude. Everyone had a sense of like presence it was palpable. And it was serendipitous. Like, I didn't plan on saying that. I couldn't believe these words came out first draft. Like, it was just so cool that we were oriented to the way the world actually is so that we could appreciate it. And it's like all of a sudden it could have just been another amazing time at a fancy hotel, or it could be, can you believe how fortunate we are we get to be here? Like your friend, the endurance runner, like, I have legs. I have a lung that can have air in and out. Yeah. When you orient to that, choosing a hard thing so that you can appreciate that more, it becomes like the smart thing to do. That's what smart people do. But we don't do that. Our world is entirely oriented to treat moments like that as the goal. And when you get there, cling to it with everything you've got. And that's not thriving. That's actually... you're playing scared. You're playing like the hard parts are going to kill you.
Thank you for sharing that. I love these moments where who knows where it's going to go. Thank you for sharing that gift, Dane. I'm so there right now because the amount of work and optimism and hope it has taken to get to this phase of life, you know, healthy, beautiful kids, beautiful wife. Like these are things that I couldn't even dream being a reality. And so the same fuel that got me here can so easily be replaced with scarcity of like, oh, how do we not lose this?
You got something to lose now.
You got something to lose. Man, I tell you, this has been the wildest thing. Hunting for life insurance right now. It has really like caused me to look in the mirror and
Good for you.
really bank on like what if this happens. I mean, I shared with you on the phone, I've shared this on the show many times now. On New Year's, my wife and I were in a very scary small plane incident that very really could have taken us out. My son would have never been born, and my daughter wouldn't have us in physical body anymore. And that has put things in perspective. And I don't know why this is such a rabbit hole I'm diving down, but mortality's really become kind of like the theme for this like first half of the year. Even so, like I found this book. Have you heard of The Last Lecture?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh my! I knew
So
I'd heard
good.
it mentioned before, but for those listening, it's
Is it
about
Mitch Alk? What's Mitch's last name?
Randy Pauscher.
Is it Randy?
Randy Pausch? Or Randy, is it? Yeah,
Who wrote
Randy Pausch or whatever. Or whatever.
Why do I
No,
think it's
mean,
Mitch
don't-
Albom?
Randy Pausch. It's about a computer science professor who finds out he's terminal. And he in academia, many schools give lecturers this opportunity to do what's called their last lecture, which is if
At
you were to
Carnegie
only
Mellon,
ever
yeah.
at Carnegie Mellon, yeah, if you were
Yeah.
only able to do one lecture and it's your last one ever, what would it be on? And so here's a guy posed with a very short window of life, and we're talking months. And he could be spending it with his young children, a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old, and his wife. But including into that time he has left, he puts so much effort into this last lecture. And it kind of acts as a living testament to what he wants his kids to pick up and know, and of him, that even when he's gone in this physical plane, they have this thing to carry on. And so I'm reading this thing, and bloody hell, I don't know why I do it. Maybe I'm a masochist. Every night I'm just crying, going to bed, just being like, what would be my last lecture for my kids? And, you know, Gregory talks about this a lot when he comes on the show about the lessons from the sick and the dying, that, you know, these hospice nurses were able to like gain all these insights from these people that had only weeks to live. What were their regrets? What were their, you know, the things that they were proud of? And man, it's amazing how the colors are a little bit more brighter each day. And I'm noticing things in the morning on my walk that I wouldn't have noticed otherwise. Like,
That's right.
I went on a hike yesterday, and I would have never. I'm always looking for kind of timber rattlers while I'm out there, because they're everywhere out here. And didn't have my headphones in, and like just from the sound of a rock shifting, I was about to step on a box turtle. But if I had my headphones in, I wouldn't have heard it, and I would have stepped on him. But I heard him shift a rock under his foot, and I'm like, boom, there's this box turtle. So I moved him out of the trail and put him on a rock and just sat on the rock next to him. And I feel like I legit had a conversation with this turtle. But instead of listening to podcasts or music or something to like, oh, I need to get to this level or next level, it's like, man, looking at what's around me right now. A healthy baby. A wife she's working so hard postpartum and doing so well with our kids, and my daughter who's just like personality galore. Holy moly, this kid needs an open mic, because she's just so full of just. Anyway, I could talk forever, but it's interesting that we're having this conversation, and this is what's really been pinging for me since the new year. Like, if I go tomorrow, is my family set? Am I proud of how I've shown up? And what if it isn't going tomorrow? What if it is, I've got 12 months? You know, then how would I spend those 12 months?
Yeah.
what's going to be the most important thing, the most meaningful thing, and how can I not, well, maybe this is the question. How do we simulate that so that we can alter how we show up each day to create a little bit more meaning? I don't know. Pass the mic to you.
Yeah. Well, another guy I think a lot about in this category is Ben Sasse, right? So former Nebraska senator, has terminal cancer. He was a senator for 2 years, and he quit his job in the Senate, which never happens. But he quit it because he was he felt like senators were being so ineffectual. They just weren't doing their job. So he became president of University of Florida. He had been a president of another school, a very academic historian dude. Anyways, last December, he gets news that he's terminal brain cancer. He's going to die in 90 days. And he's still living, by the way, side note, and it's June. But he, if your listeners have a chance to, the 60 Minutes interview or his interview on with the New York Times, dude, just to note how he is relating with the reality he's facing. Because it's really important that people understand that if there's trouble and there's me, there's not just two things going on here. There's trouble, there's me, and there's the space between me and trouble. And what you do with that space determines your relationship with trouble. So if trouble's coming towards you, like for Ben Sasse or the last lecture guy, or the reason I was thinking of Mitch Albom was he wrote a book called Tuesdays with Maury, and Maury was his teacher, his last lecture guy, basically. Or Timmy, my buddy. In a sense, and you hear this from guys like Ben Sasse, like no one wants this for anybody. It's terrible what he's going through. But he's kind of been given a weird gift, a terrible, severe gift, to know he's on the clock. Because most of us live our lives in a trance. We think there's no end. We think everything is up and to the right. It's so subtle. It's insidious. And the other side of it is it feels morose, like to talk about death all the time and to be like, oh, this is awful. And it's like, yeah, of course death is awful. It is awful. It might be a reason why you might want to work out your worldview about what happens maybe after or what happens before, or is life really just nihilistically meaningless, or is there actually something more to the equation? That's a worthy investigation, friends, while you still have air in your lungs. But regardless of what you think of all that, your question about simulation, I think, is an important one. Because in a sense, what Timmy and I stumbled into was microdosing discomfort. Like little, just a taste, just a smidge. And
we're not Timothy Leary level doses.
No,
but...
like, dude, this was, we're not doing hallucinogenics. But what's cool is, it's so funny. So for those who don't know, the way Men and Women of Discomfort works is people, they apply to join, we accept them, and what they're doing in this process is they're making one choice to, for 90 days, they don't make any more choices. We make all their choices for them for 90 days. That's what happens. And it sounds kind of severe and rugged, and dude, the choices we're making for people to make are things like drink 96 ounces of water a day, get 7 hours sleep. Like these are so basic. And we ratchet other things up that are uncomfortable, getting cold showers and whatever. But the reason people don't do MWOD is they find out they can't have creamer in their coffee. Like that's going to be the thing that gets in the way of them transforming their lives in 90 days. They get taken out over nothing. Like I have to like get in a cold shower for 30 seconds, like every day, like what? Or I'm not going to have a cocktail at that event that's really important to me. Like, dude, have a soda water and a lime. Like, it's 90 days. Why? What is going on? And it's because even microdosing discomfort feels like I'm going to die for some people. And to be fair, I get it. There's never a day where I want to hold my breath. There's never a day where I want to get in cold water, ever. But there's never here's the kicker. There's never a day when I get out of the cold water that I'm not grateful that I got in. Every single time I'm on the other side of the uncomfortable thing, I'm stronger and more awake. I actually have greater capacity to love other people, to do that what you just described as you're walking through on your trail and saving the turtle. Like and even a sense of gratitude of like, I'm doing something good. And death didn't happen when it would have if I was asleep at the wheel. Like, it's just so cool, man. And so the way to simulate, you're not going to simulate what it's like to have terminal cancer. You're not. Good. That's terrible. But what you might do is you might orient to reality in a way that's more in tune with the way the world actually is. And when you play along with the rules on how the world actually is, you tend to actually flourish in the world. Like my favorite little one-line proverb is from the Norwegians, who say, there is no bad weather, there's only bad clothes. And if you pretend it's not raining and storming out, you're going to be miserable in the storm. But if you wear the right clothes, it is one of the most euphoric experiences you'll ever have to be outside in the elements and be ready for the storm. There's something about that is so life-giving, so from your soul, like cheering, like, yes, I'm alive. That is how you simulate living. The goal isn't just to die better. The goal is to be alive while we are alive and to perpetuate that life in every kind of nook and cranny we can find.
Man, I am becoming more and more aware, and this conversation's making it blatantly aware, that I am projecting comfort as a status quo onto my kids. Every time my daughter goes to run outside and I'm like, put your shoes on, or like, wash your feet off before you come inside, or like, she's not allowed to make a mess while she's having dinner. She's 3. Like, come on. And it's so funny how I unconsciously become this like warrior for the status quo of comfort. For context for people, I attempted MWOD probably back in 2021.
That's all right.
And I crashed out.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what it was, but I think it was literally a version of like creamer in my coffee.
Yeah.
My dad was coming. I hadn't seen my dad in about a couple of years, and he was coming in for Christmas, and I wanted to have a whiskey with him.
That's what it was. I remember that.
And it was amazing. It was really bringing to the forefront of my consciousness of how much I had permeated comfort through every facet of my life. And when it was being risked, my nervous system was like freaking out.
Yeah.
I think because I could also, having been an elite athlete, having been someone very uncomfortable like in business, and I could tell the downstream effect of that, what was going to come of that. And it was like, holy moly. So it gets me thinking now, like, dude, I'm feeling the calling again. I'm feeling the calling again because, yeah, like things have been really peachy and there's a lot of privilege in that. And yeah, it's, I'm feeling the calling, and I'm sure some of you are listening right now being like, yeah, you know what? If I want the right to write the next chapter of my story, I need to take ownership for what's happening right now, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. And perhaps discomfort's going to be voluntary discomfort is a great vessel in order to, I don't know. What do you see in these folks over these 90 days? What verb represents what you witness as they voluntarily choose this discomfort?
They gain agency. They gain agency. So just think about, pick any uncomfortable thing in your world that you didn't pick. That's frustrating. What ends up happening, like whether it's you had a great plan for the day and a water pipe breaks, or a newborns and whatever their agenda is. Yeah, like sleep deprivation, or the baby won't attach, or there's so many things that are
variables.
Just like,
yes.
And what does it trigger in you? Like for me, I have a list of the things it triggers for me. It triggers, I can be a petty tyrant in response to those things. Like I just want to make everybody else bad if I'm feeling bad. I can be a dick. I can be arrogant. I can get in my head too much of it and start like doing all this math when all around me are opportunities to turn it around, but I'm ignoring them because I'm trying to get it right in my head. I can be an overwhelmed manager going like, okay, now I'm going to become busy Betty, like running around trying to fix everything. And I'm not present for anything. And that's my response because I'm just terrified. I'm trying to fix it. All of these are different personas that I can take on. They're all available to me all the time, but they're not the only ones. There's also one, I made this list on the weekend of the different identities I have 10 of them. But the guy who puts front foot first focused, for me, how do I get to a place where I'm actually the one who's responding, even if it's happening to me, I'm responding from a position of strength and consciousness and sobriety. And it's kind of amazing how little it takes to put yourself in that front foot position. But, and you and I have talked about Anthony DeMello before, most of us, he points to the idea that most of us are sleepwalking in life. We get born in our sleep. We grow up in our sleep. We fall in love in our sleep. We get married in our sleep. We have babies in our sleep, and then we die in our sleep. And we never wake up. And to become a front foot focused person requires me to be awake. Well, how do I wake myself up? Well, nothing like a cold shower.
Cold shower.
Or a bitter cup, or a bitter cup of coffee, or even the discomfort of going to a cocktail party in the holidays and being the only guy that has a soda water with a lemon in it or a lime, and to realize like I am so drawn into like I need to fit in. I'm concerned what other people think of me, and even if it makes a negative impact on my sleep, again, it's not about optimization. It's really about confronting the space and deciding to own it. And so the common denominator of people who practice this stuff is they get agency. They do a reversal on the hard things. The hard things come at them, and like a wrestler, they turn it on them. They turn the energy in the other direction, and they go from feeling like a victim to feeling like a hero. They transform the thing. And this is how you deal with hard things when they come your way. You prepare, you practice, so that when they come, you're ready.
It becomes, instead of why me, it becomes now this.
Now this.
Yeah.
Thank you for reality.
Yeah.
And I have to be very careful here, man, because like I'm another friend, totally unrelated to Timmy, when I introduced me to my wife, Rick Mullis is my friend. He has brain cancer right now, and he's on the clock statistically. Things do not look good for my friend Rick. And I'm not trying to say to Rick, like, however people respond to the hard thing when it just arrives, grace on you. Like, I'm not saying this brawny Greek God stand up. Like, dude, life is hard. Life beats the crap out of people.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is, as best you can manage, when you can choose the thing that you're resisting, you're going to be really grateful on the other side, because you in a micro way turned it around and taken agency instead of it taking something from you.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm prescribing, and to the best you can manage. And in some cases, when trouble is coming at you so hard, just survive the storm, man. Just get through the storm. And then on the other side of it, if the sun comes out, remind yourself and maybe get after something difficult.
Yeah, the newborn storm is real.
It's real.
I know
man.
why. I'm like the horse at the gates that's just like, I want to run, and it's like, not the season. Let's just
your discomfort is actually to stay up late and do feeding duty and to show up early and stay late, and like discomfort comes in many forms.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Bingo. And I've got a healthy baby, and so much to be grateful for. The thing that is pinging for me is when I think about MWOD, what are these vices, or what are these habits or behaviors that allow me to feel like I fit in? So drinking, for example, it's much easier to fit in in a social environment. 2-3 cocktails, boom, I'm in my element. Ooh, every word is just
own
liquid.
the room, bro.
Own the room, dance floor, bring it on.
I've been in rooms with you like that. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I love it. And can I do that without the drink? And so this concept of fitting in versus belonging. Where you earn belonging in MWOD just by choosing the difficult thing, as opposed to fitting in because you can do 100 burpees unbroken or whatever. No. The common thread in the community is that, hey, I see you. You chose the hard thing and you did it, even if it is just having a black coffee. And there are people there to celebrate that and celebrate you with that, and that it isn't this. You don't have to sign up for a marathon to enter into the community. Like it's just built over time, because we've built comfort in our lives over time, step by step. So it's just this, gradual process, which is attractive to me if I'm thinking about longevity and being in the game in the long run, rather than a flash of the pan, couch to 25K kind of thing. Yeah.
The better vision, I think. So I started my CrossFit's a part of my world, and I started at a wonderful gym up in Northern California called Auburn CrossFit, and we actually made a little movie with CrossFit HQ about one of our members there named Annie. Annie at the time was a 93-year-old CrossFitter. She started CrossFitting when she was 89. She was a smoker. Wow. She couldn't walk around the block. And at this point, she was doing dead hangs and holding a plank for 3 minutes and 26 seconds. And her burpee looked different than yours, but not much. It's pretty impressive. Dude, wow. She's 96 today, and she's still at CrossFit. And it's not about Herculean. It's about like Iron Horse. Like she is the vision. I want to be like her, not Goggins. Like Goggins is rad. Don't mishear me. He's super
Goggins
cool,
is going to be in a wheelchair. Like it's not sustainable.
He won't be at CrossFit at 96. That's exactly right.
No,
and I think that there's and I got to be careful here. Maybe he will, actually, of all people. If he heard this, he might go, "I'll show you. You don't know me, son," and he'll do his thing, So, whatever. I hope he is.
It's just a very unrelatable person.
But Annie, I can relate with.
Yeah.
At least I hope to, if I do it right. And we can, to your point, you can do that in any context. If you're at MWOD, that's great. It's kind of nice to suffer in community. All my best friends are people I suffer with because we choose it together. It's beautiful. We belong. We have agency. We're getting better at living life together every day. We don't have the cognitive load either of trying to decide what to do every day. That's a big deal. But regardless of whether you're a part of our community or you're a part of something else, you better be a part of something, man. Because doing it solo, it's terrible. It's terrible.
I can negotiate with myself like you wouldn't believe. And I will not split the difference. Like I can get myself out of anything. But when I know my buddies are going to be there and they're either in a healthy, mature way, invite me in, or in a very immature, crass way, call me you know what. It's enough of a kicker to go, they're going to be there. Yes. They're going to be there. And I know that when I have that accountability, and plus, like we get in the sauna after we work out, and then we get in the sauna and we put on our tinfoil hats and talk about our favorite conspiracies of the week. It's just like whatever. Like it's just that chance to connect, and then if that happens before the sun comes up, how good is that? Then the rest of the day is just cherries.
Yeah, last thing I'll say, one of my favorite lines was from a guy named Josh, who was part of our community for a long time. He had a terrible boss. And he'd finish his morning practice. That was what we call our thing. And he'd go to work, and his boss would just jabber at him about something. And he went from like, this guy's kryptonite to impervious. Like he was like, there's nothing difficult about, like everything I did this morning was so much harder than this. Bless your heart, little man. Like,
boss is just being boss.
That's what his job is. Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. He's expectations met.
Yes, exactly. But what was great was with Josh, he was orienting his response in such a way that he had the power, and it's pretty cool.
Rip the pen out of fate's hands, because fate is a horrible writer of your story. 100%. Asking fate to write your story is like asking a tornado to renovate your kitchen. It'll do it. You just won't like the end result. And so rip that pen out of its hands. You write the story. And whether it's MWOD or your local CrossFit gym or just your buddy that you know you can get a walk in, just find that community. Choose voluntary discomfort.
Every day. Every day. And Brandon, I'll say this. I said last thing. This is actually what I wanted to really say is my last thing. Your leadership, your invitation to men through this medium and other places, but in particular this, has made a massive difference. I mean, when I was on the show initially and since, the folks that have tuned in, like, they're the dream members, like them coming in, like they get it. And the only miss I have in my head is you. I want you back, bro. I want you back. I'll even raise the stakes. Anyone that you bring with you will work something out special. I promise. I'll make it worth everyone's while. Okay. So it's just an open invite. No expectations. No pressure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Seed planted and agitated.
That's good.
So yes, this
and
is
friends,
something that
if you're watching it on video right now, watch it. Look at his biceps, how small they are. When they get big again,
they are small. Oh my God. What's happened? I've gone from rad bod to dad bod. What's happening to me? Oh man, thank you for the challenge. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the calling. Let's connect once we hit stop on the record, and I'll put it in the show notes what the result ends up being. But you know what?
Or even just see if anyone's interested, because if they are, again, we'll figure something out.
Bingo. If you're listening right now, Brandon@brandoncliff.com, shoot me an email, and we'll come in as a package deal.
A cohort. Take over, bro. If you're so
cohort. Great. So MWOD.io, correct?
That's it. In or out. That's what it's for.
MWOD.io. In or out. Fantastic. Dane, beautiful to spend this time with you again. Let's not let 200 episodes go by before we do this again and create beautiful alchemy.
You're such a great leader, bro. I'm just so thankful for you. Thank you for all you do. And thanks for having me on.
My pleasure, mate. Well, of course, the greatest thanks goes to you, the listeners, who show up each and every week for this, the Mankind Podcast, the show where we break the molds of modern manhood to prove that there is, in fact, more than one way to be a man. What do you say, Dane? Have we done that today?
Well, I'm just grateful to be included in the conversation. So if we did a little bit, I'll be glad.
I will say we did. Lots of love, folks. We'll see you next week. This has been another episode of the Mankind Podcast, produced in association with the Mankind Project USA. We have been your host, Boyson Hodgson, and myself, Brandon Clift, and we want to thank our guests for joining us today and imparting their wisdom from their experiences in this amazing journey called life. If you want to find out more about today's guests and support them in their mission, you can find links to them in the show notes. Now, if you have found gold and insights that you believe could benefit your loved ones and those you care about, be sure to share it with them. And of course, we are always grateful for a rating and review of the show on iTunes. Now, above all else, we've got to thank you, the listener, because through your attention and your support, you have made it possible for us to let men all over the world know that they are not alone and that there is more than one way to be a man. And if something in this episode has touched you, then perhaps it is the call to action to get involved in men's work. With live trainings happening constantly and in-person trainings happening all over the world, the Mankind Project definitely has something for you. Now, if you've enjoyed the music in this episode and all of our episodes, be sure to check out Jim Donovan and the Sun King Warriors. I have links to them in the show notes. And lastly, just know, what it means to me to be a man is completely different than what it means for you. That is the beauty of this journey. So if you are looking for guidance, support, and community as you begin to unpack and dive deeper into your men's work journey, then you know where to find us. Same place, same time, next week. Lots of love. We'll see you then.
Hey, it's Boyson. On the Mankind podcast, we've brought some incredible guests on to talk about the importance of doing the work to improve our mental and emotional health. And here's the truth. Multiple times over the last 25 years, I've had the help of one-on-one work with some amazing therapists. For me, for my wife, for both of us as adoptive parents, and for our kids. The Mankind Project and Men's Group, though awesome, are not a substitute for professional mental health support. And so I'm thrilled that the Mankind Podcast now has BetterHelp as a sponsor for the show. BetterHelp works online. It asks you what you're working on and then matches you for live one-on-one sessions with a licensed therapist, someone trained to work with you, listen, and offer helpful insights. I'm using BetterHelp. It's super easy, and I like what I'm getting. If getting one-on-one support in the comfort of your own space feels like a good direction for you, I invite you to check it out. Go to the link in the show notes or betterhelp.com/mankind. And if you sign up, you'll get 10% off your first month of therapy.